All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now about 6 o'clock. About time to start the meeting. If everybody would please stand and probably repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with myself. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brother Larry, would you lead us tonight?
Father, have we come before you tonight, thank you for all the things you've given us. Lord, tonight we thank you for this opportunity to come out and meet and study and to share with each other. And may we be a blessing to the community. Lord, pray that you will be with the family of the officer who lost his life recently. Lord, we remember him fondly, and so, Lord, we pray that you'll be with his family. Bless them. May everything we do tonight be pleasing to you. First in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All righty, well, thank you for coming tonight. We've got a pretty packed house. I think we're going to have a really good meeting tonight. This is probably going to be one of the best ones of the year. It's because of you. Let's see here. We have our treasurer who's run away with our money to Washington. So we will never see her again because we probably have as much money in the bank account as we ever had. So she's buying the grandchild all kinds of new presents with our money. And so
Not really.
No, not really, of course. But anyway.
She's up there bribing Congress for the Parity Act.
There you go.
He's helping clean out the swamp.
There you go. Anyway, so she's doing that, and they congratulations to, of course, still to Larry and Sandra for their new grandchild. And also, while we're on the subject of our treasurer, I just want to say that Miss Sandra is doing an excellent job. I've got a little paragraph here. I don't need to look at it. She does an exceptional job with our treasury. She's as tough as any banker out here. As we said, we operate with 100% transparency. She can open the books and give you an answer for anything in a matter of seconds. And she's just above board when it comes to doing a great job on being a treasurer. I wish she was here, but I'm sure that Larry will convey that to her, that we did talk about her tonight. And as I said, she is right here on my list to be commended for what she has done as a treasurer. Everybody is doing a really good job with what we got going on. Some of the things are a little bit slower than others, but we're working on it. We're still, Steve and I, we've sent a letter to one superintendent. I've sent it twice now, and keeping Steve up to speed on it. We're trying to find a location for our Ham Fest. We're still working on that, and we're looking around. And by the way, if you happen to find a place that might be that's available, let Steve know and let us ponder on this location. From what I understand, the Shriner site has gone up another $1,000. And so, yeah, it's $3,500 now, and it's $3,500 for anybody who walks through the door, from what I understand. So, there you go.
There's a man with $3,500.
There he is, right there. So let it be passed that Don Finney will. Yeah,
Glad to pay it.
that will be glad to pay for our convention center. Yes, sir,
You
Mr.
can probably do it with Sky Miles.
Yes, sir, Mr.
It's a date or a target date for that.
We're shooting for around October, so we're working on that. We have on the next meeting we will have pictures for you. You remember a couple of months ago we took pictures. We took our group picture here of everybody. We will get them printed. I have the disc now that or the email from Ronnie, who did a great job on making the photo of us. And so we'll have them printed up for everybody here. Do we have anybody that's here tonight for the first time? All right. Sir, stand up and tell us who you are. And if you have a call sign.
I'm a roofer. I'm retired from Mobile County. I was a county engineer, public works director for 42 years. I served on the EMA board for a long time. I'm still on that. The county's rep on the EMA board.
What is your call sign, Joe? I can't see it quite.
Do what?
Give me your call sign, please.
Kilo November 4 Alpha Mike X-ray.
Amen.
Kilo November 4 Alpha Mike X-ray. All right, copy 5-9. And we appreciate you being here. Do we have anybody else that's here for the first time tonight? Okay, I was gonna say, we got so many folks and everything. Yes, sir, stand up and tell us a little bit about you.
My name is James, K1 Sugar Delta. Just moved down here from New England. I'm looking to transfer my contest station down here. But what I also love so much, I went to the Mobile Amateur Radio Club earlier this month, and one of your representatives came by and said, gave a report briefly about an activation on the Alabama,
Correct,
and also what we did for Winter Field Day.
correct.
That's the kind of stuff that I just love to do.
Sign him up.
Field day, I used to do a lot of field day, and we do some field day stuff in New England, so.
New England's still bit above Montgomery, isn't it? I believe.
No, just on the other side of Jackson.
I got you. Okay, yeah. I don't get up that way a whole
When
lot.
I lived in Baton Rouge, we called that, you get to be a Yankee. Around Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to be assimilated into the ham community, and these are some four roads.
Well, MARC is a great club, and we're a great club, and we think we're the friendliest club in Alabama. We're growing by leaps and bounds. We currently have one major repeater up and 3 voters on top of that. We're in the process of moving them around and making them a lot stronger. We're going from what I understand in the next couple of weeks from 50 watts to 170 something. So yeah, it's coming right along. We've got some guys behind the scenes. Neither one of them are here tonight, but they're up to their eyes. One of them's 35 years experience of facing electronics every day of his life, along with this young man over here. And so we have a lot of people that are helping us. They're on board with us big time about helping the community. And also, ironically, we got 2 Joes tonight. And Mr. KC, good evening. It's good to see you, sir. And speaking of Aries, we are blessed to have Chuck Miller here again. How's your knees doing?
Got both of them replaced, and the left one's still working on a little bit.
There you go. Talk to us a little bit about Aries and tell us what's happening and how about Mr. Richard.
Richard Wright has had health problems throughout. He's an older gentleman, vintage fellow, and he's got to the point where he's out as far as being an emergency coordinator for the officials. So in Mobile County, we're looking for someone to be an emergency coordinator. Now, understand that Aries is not assigned to any club; it's assigned to the county. But we like to work with all the clubs, and that
Sure.
you guys are the ones who are going to be helping out with the meeting, and we have the needs for the various stations. So if anybody thinks they're interested, get a hold of me, we'll talk to you, show you what you're signing up to. If you can't sign up to it, don't do it. But if you can, we'd love to have somebody in that position. And we have some other counties here, we're still looking for DCs, if nobody in Connecticut County. So listen to that one in there. As far as the other side of the Aries program is being revamped a little bit. Our mission's changing just slightly due to the change in the times. And so as soon as they get more definitive information, we'll know. And you go online and you'd like to sign in the Aries, become an Aries member. You don't get a card unless you do some minimal training. But they have electronic systems. There's only 31,000 Aries people currently in the electronic system in the United States. Any questions?
All right.
Are you still going to start back teaching classes on that locally or doing online?
Depends on, try to go to meeting and have a zero response there. And on Saturdays, I have about the same response. So if there's a need for a given topic at a particular time, I'd have to teach any class anytime. But on a regular basis, it just wasn't enough interest for me.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. So if you're still interested in Aries, you want to get with Chuck. He's second to none. Another big batter in Aries and helping out big time with Aries is Mr. Alan Waldo. He is also second to none. I've been very, very proud to operate beside him many times. He keeps me on the straight and narrow, and especially being as how he was my first VE to give me to get my license. So And of course, my phone is sitting here, telling us God knows what, but, sorry for that. Anybody that's around me during the daytime, Mr. Don, where are you at? There you are. Does my phone ring anytime during the day? Does it ding very much during the day?
35 minutes.
Yeah.
35 minutes.
Yeah, not like that.
Don't be afraid to call him either. I called him the other day and said, "What are you doing?" "I'm 70 foot on a tower. What you need?"
And I was. He said, "Okay, I'll call you back." Anyway, yes, sir, go ahead.
I don't know how many of you know it or not, but Renee Stiegler, K4EDX, who owned WLO, passed away unexpectedly this past week.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, Renee had talked to him, that was about the same time that you and I had talked. And I think I was on the tower when he called me. He wanted me to help him put up a tower. And so, yeah, it's a sad passing. You never know, you know, and it'll be a loss to the ham radio community. You're a really super good guy. Good evening, sir. Tell us who you are and tell us your call sign.
Mike Molotov, brand new to ham radio from Birmingham, Alabama. Retired Navy guy. Call sign, Michael Leonard, Kilo November for Juliet Gulf Delta.
Juliet Gulf Delta.
What's your last name, Mike?
Almost. Last name's Haughton, Hautau.
Okay, yeah, Okay, yeah, now I know who you are. And we sure appreciate you being here tonight. Yeah, and so we got Larry's a retired Navy guy, so he can translate for you if we get to something a little bit too deep. And he's an electronics guy, so I was going to say too. I want to say something else too. This is you know it's so fun. Did we have fun yesterday, Larry?
All day.
We sit up there, we worked. He helped. Dave and Larry came to me, and I told them I wanted to put up an HF antenna, a 2040, something like that. That was a boomer. Now Dave has one in his yard that's 44 feet tall with 2.5 miles of ground radios on it, and I mean they're all over the place. And we built this one, and we fought it for about 2 weeks in a way. Now we could probably build one in an hour or so. It wouldn't take very long. But our first contact, Larry, I got on there and I was trying to call this guy. He said, "Give me the mic, like this right here." You got on K4MR. The guy came back, K4MR, France, boom, making friends. And I guess it's the way you talk to the mic, or either his girlish voice, I don't know. But the guy came right back to it. I done tried about 6 times. But anyway, you need to see this antenna. If you need just a little bit of real estate, it takes up a spot about as big as this, about half as big as this room, something like this. But it's a boomer antenna. It works really, really well. And I'll put some pictures on the Facebook, and if you're certainly welcome to come out and see it. Highly recommend it. It works really, really well. The radios on mine are probably about 6 foot, go up to about 10. They slope down. It's a single vertical. It was a double vertical, but we took and cut it in half. Larry built a beautiful trap put in the middle of it, so it's 40-20. And as I said, it's a performer. We got it down now. We took it and put it up about 50 times, and so we need to do it just one more time so we can have the right measurements on it, so we can sit there and say, this is the way you do it. So we'll certainly have that, something other that you can try if you'd like, if you have a little bit of real estate to put it on. We had winter field day, and we had our good coordinator, Mr. Brian Swearingen over there. That was January 27 and 28, and I'm going to let Brian expound on that. And so take it away again for FBO.
Well, we didn't have very many contacts this time. We run 4 stations. The bands were not in our favor. But we had a good time, and that was the most important thing. So, and Winterfield Day is just about having fun. So we claimed a total score of 3582. Total contacts was 329. Had 18 CW contacts, thanks to the Jim and Jim team that showed up. 311 phone contacts, both on 20 and 40 meter. Some statistics. Total contacts by section. We had 23 in North Carolina. Actually, that would have been North Carolina. And then total contacts by state, we had 33 contacts in Texas. We had 8 contacts in Canada. Had 1 contact in American Samoa. Canadian? Yeah. It's like your attic. You forget it's up there, you know? There's a lot of cool stuff up there. I think that's all the stats we had, but anyway, I've got the report here that I printed off I've already submitted everything to Winter Field Day, so we had a good time. We ran 4 stations. We had a couple of older radios out there that we ran, so I tried to run anyway, so it was a good time. If you missed it, always next year. We do have Field Day coming up in June, as well as Memorial Ships Weekend is coming up as well.
We might as well go ahead and start planning a summer field day since winter decided to leave.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have summer field day next week.
What class were you, 4A?
4A.
Any potential place for summer field day?
Well, we've talked about it. We've kicked around several ideas. We've not really decided on anything. So, you know, one time we talked about
Up there, yeah, up there with
what was it? At St. Stephen's, right? Your daughter still work up there?
She does.
I think that would be awesome.
It might be an awesome place. I haven't been up there in a long time. I need to go up there and drive up there and look at it. So.
Find out what was up there, though.
And we do have, you know, we're branching out more and more. People are knowing about us more and more. We are spreading out. We're going to these clubs. I'm going to try to go next week to Mississippi and go to one of their club meetings over there. As I said, you know, realistically within an hour, we ought to be able to reach a lot of people, and we can. And one of the reasons today, with one of the show and tell things that I brought was my truck with the antenna on it. And as I said, as an emergency response person, like Steve Hale and I are so used to dealing with, we're given X number of minutes to respond to something or other. And realistic in the radio world, again, you know, with Pensacola being an hour away, Dauphin Island an hour, Chatham an hour, these are realistic response times. And so that's the main reason I brought this here. We can put up antennas, we can be up and running pretty darn quick, and we can help people out with such things as this. And of course, Steve with his launcher tonight, he'll explain that. Other ways, we all know that we can sit there and be up and running in a very short time. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Dixie Amateur Radio Club, it might be a country club up there. It's a little old country club, but it's a great country club. If you get a chance, go up there. They generally meet at the American Legion. They have a steak dinner, either that or Mexican feud or food, whichever comes first. And depends on who's driving through the town. But anyway, yeah, they have the Iron Skillet, Mexican food, or the American Legion, or they have Mexican food, Iron Skillet, and American Legion, and that's about it. So anyway, Mr. Terry Harden back there, KJ4 TVX, is the president of Dixie Amateur Radio Club. And if you would, sir, speak a minute. Tell us what's going on.
Just coming in here tonight and seeing all you guys and all of us standing up, giving the pledge and saying a prayer, I just want to say that I'm still proud to be a part of the right country where we can still do that.
Amen.
I didn't see anybody take a knee. And
That's right.
a lot of things are on the line here in our country, a lot of changes going on, a lot of ifs and buts, we're not sure, but we're good to see that. Encourage you guys to get involved with as many of these things as you can. Summer Field Day, Winter Field Day, Head Fest coming up, Tailgaters coming up. Just, you know, you meet a lot of great people, and never been a stranger in here very long. Great folks. Encourage you to come drop by our meeting if you'd like. We usually have 7, 8, 9, 10 people or something like that, and we try to make you guys meet. So.
When is your meeting?
Our next meeting will be the 8th of March at 6:30 p.m. at the American Legion Post in Central Ave. We usually be up at 5:30 to have dinner. They have a steak, baked potato, salad for $14. Get tea, and they treat us real good. They went on to the food. They have a back room in the American Legion where it's sealed off. There's a lot of price compared to the other places. So loving anybody to come out and enjoy it.
And when is our
We didn't set a date on that. I don't think we did. Did anybody else visit the Bluegill when we had our get-togethers there? It's always a good time, I think we said.
Yeah, I believe that's what they were shooting for. Yeah, that sounds right. It was gonna be, instead of your meeting, y'all were gonna do the, Bluegill that night.
April, we'll do that, we'll have our, the second Thursday of the month, we'll have a Bluegill restaurant, and it'll be, Central Park, and, we always have a good turnout. The food is the, highlight of the day there, the food is outstanding there, so, can't complain about that.
Yeah, generally about 30 people show up, North Ballin, South Ballin, all the clubs north of us around here show up. So it's quite a bit of people that show up. The food's really good. It's fast. It's reasonable. So if y'all get a chance, and I'll certainly send out some information on that again. And you're more than welcome to come, and you're gonna have a good time.
My last thing is, I was got into this hobby and started seeing what's going on, and the new guys coming in, and me getting on the radio myself and talking. Part of being a good elder is getting on the radio and talking to these portions of the band for older technician class, the new guys coming in, 2 meters is, that's all they have. They have a $30 HT, they're tickled to death to have it, and, get on there and talk to them. Somebody keeps up, gives their call, something they never heard, go get them, say, hey, how you doing? So that's about all I got, but I appreciate it.
All right, so thank you. Let's see, it was February 3rd and 4th. Mr. Tim Morgan, tell us about the battleship and let Joe know what we do with the battleship. And the drum, excuse me.
On February 3rd and 4th, once again, it was the Living History Crew drill, so we were back on the Alabama. And by the way, Mr. Paul Moses is now the full-time dedicated submarine radio operator. He will be there from now on out. In fact, I have already sent a message to the New Jersey group to activate the drone this year for the museumship weekend, because you will be there operating the radio, so we'll be counting 2 separate shifts instead of 1. And we won't have to be switch swapping frequencies, other than you on one frequency a couple hours and us swap back and forth. We made about 135 contacts weekend. Wasn't exactly a lot of people on the air. Next activation will be April. In April, they already have a schedule to be on the battleship and museumship weekend, the first weekend in June. We'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Basically with the same setup we had last year, where we have access to the kitchen and the berth there, so we can sleep in there. Mr. Moses and anybody else that wants to be on the submarine with him, I'll be over there. And
Are you actually in the radio room in the submarine?
Huh?
Are you in the radio room on the submarine?
No, because it's so small. We're actually in the wardroom of the submarine, which is basically a table about that long.
Right.
We'll be in the wardroom on the submarine, and then we'll be down in the goat locker on the battleship. Field day. We're already scheduled to be on the battleship because that's the June activation. So Ron said we will be
that same weekend.
Same weekend.
You said June the 2nd?
June 2nd, the first weekend. I think it's the 3rd and 4th.
Days the 3rd weekend.
Yeah.
That's when we, 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, 23rd, 24th. Well, that's the drill weekend for the battleship, so we already scheduled to be there. So I told Ron that was when field day. She said be more than happy for us to be on there for field day and do everything we want to do. So that's just day out. So other than that, if you want to work the battleship, join the Living History Cruise, come on out. Mr. Paul done went and got suited up completely from head to toe. I mean, he's done pulled that Navy uniform in.
We need to get some pictures of that.
So just let me know and we'll get you on board.
All right. I'm going to introduce somebody tonight twice. Mr. Joe Guthrie, stand up and introduce your wife and give us your call sign.
Guthrie, King 4, CCW, W, Bride, Herdman, Lurking, on 2 meter, 4 to 1. This is my lovely wife, Nelda. right in there.
And let me tell you something about Joe. He's been in it about 15 minutes, so to speak, and Joe is second to none. He is coming right along, and like I said, he is the first guy, well, let's see here. Yeah, he's the first guy that I'm going to introduce tonight when it comes to show and tell. He has grabbed the bull by the horns. We did something yesterday, and I'm going to let him expound on it, but it's a first for this community in a long time. And I know that his wife is proud of him for doing this, and we're blessed to have him doing this, and I'm sure he's going to be working with Tim. They're both weather enthusiasts, so what he's going to talk about and what we did, it was very, very interesting. It was a success, and it was a daunting thing. Let me tell you, it was more than difficult. But again, I'm going to let him expound on that in just a little bit. Well, another thing that happened February 3rd during our battleship, our USS Alabama endeavor that we took on. And by the way, we are getting contacts and relations with people all over the world because of our ambassador, Mr. Tim Morgan over here. He is second to none as well on the battleship of getting things. Him and Shay and Rhonda, the people who are the main people of the battleship. We have opened doors over there that they will let us pretty well do anything we want. All Tim's got to do is walk up and say, we'd like to do this, and bam, it will happen. They are loving us beyond words for all the advertisement and all the promotions we do for the battleship. We've got so many. Right now we're using my home address as a location. We have to have a static address. So we're using that as the address to get QSL cars, and believe me, how many have we got? I mean, my God.
No, it's up at the hundred in there.
I mean, it's way up in the hundreds. It's a lot of people out here that, but on that same day though, we also had a supper at Mr. Lee's house, and his lovely wife, Miss April. They made us supper, and it was second to none too. It was super good. Mr. Terry shaking his head, and Miss Carolyn, they were sitting there saying, yes, yes. It was, glazed turkey and some stuff I can't even pronounce, but it was really, really good. And so if you get a chance to come back out, Miss April is second to none as well. She used to be a caterer. We just can't thank her and Mr. Hughes enough for inviting us into their beautiful home. It was enjoyed by all. There was about a dozen people that participated. And so, again, convey to her that we all appreciate it, and especially for everybody that attended. We've got another guy that maybe some guy that just walked in and just, he might have been a few minutes late. I'm not going to make no fun of Dr. Bob, but he's building an antenna. Let's see, there he is. There's Dr. Bob. Tell us about your antenna right quick, like.
I'm working on a fiberglass column, rotatable, tiltable antenna that it can be controlled through a Raspberry Pi, so that there's no connections going back to the shack that would bring in any interference. And it's grounded in seawater, and it'll be about 40 feet high when it's finished.
Very good. Keep us up on the progress of it, and I'll keep you up on the progress of mine as well. It's working very, very well. You missed my little speech a minute ago, but I'm gonna send out some pictures on it. It's working very, very well. So we've got a lot of stuff that's going to go on tonight, and we're going to go ahead and take a break at this time. And Mr. Larry wanted to say,
Yeah, two things. One, if you have not signed in, please come by and sign here. Anybody want to pay their dues for the year, haven't paid yet, please come and see me.
thank you. I've got it here and I forgot. Go ahead, Dave.
You or me?
Hold up one second. Go ahead,
One
Dave.
announcement needs to be said, it's important. As you know, a lot of us, we have the ARL affiliation, FCC. Well, anybody that's on the HF bands as of the past 4 or 5 years, noticing some of these particular frequencies, there's a lot of unspoken things going on the radio and airwaves. And a lot of the guys get a lot of flack from the FCC saying, well, nobody does anything. One of the new initiatives this year is that we've taken proaction on a lot of these things, and even in Alabama as we speak, there's 2 cases where the FCC is actually pursuing somebody and pressing charges against for harmful interference. So a lot of things are trying to turn around where we're going to bring the amateur community back with some reputation. Obviously, that's not something that's going to be fixed overnight, and all of us know that. But there are things that the FCC is doing, putting in place, and involving a lot more people this year to try and police the airwaves and get some of the junk down. So if you have things that's going on in your area, harmful interference, harmful people, noise like that, do report it to me or Mike or your local person and go from there. Yes, sir.
In the ARL, they have official observer stations. If you think you're interested in observing, you see that stuff on the net, you want to become an official reporter, there's a way of going through some training that much. And you see a problem like that, you note it, and you send it up to chain of command, and they send out a postcard, say, please stop. And if not, they don't really follow this.
So but things have become a lot more aggressive because the whole reputation for the FCC and the ARL is nobody does anything. Well, we're trying to put a stop to that when situations are big enough to do something. Yes, sir.
One of the things I've seen recently about that is the FCC has put out a word that says if you hear it, log it.
That's right.
And turn that log into them, and then that will help them enforce it.
Yeah, just things, this is something I can talk about now. This is actually happening where a local club here in Alabama was noticing harmful interference. Well, they went up to the person's house just to try and talk with them. Well, the guy forcefully drove down on gunpoint, got him off the property, and then ended up shooting at their direction over interference that was on 6 meter and things like that. So a lot of these things are, even though we're just trying to monitor it, people are really being aggressive about it, which is crazy. Yes, sir.
Do they triangulate the different people out there when they're doing all this crazy stuff on the air like they used to back in the day?
There are things
way back with the different
there
trucks and
are things that take place, yes.
They do some things. In other words, they didn't stop it.
No, there's a lot of things that take place.
Very good.
And for the newcomers that don't know, this is Dave Welch, K4HDW, our Vice President. He's also an ARRL state representative. He's also our technician. He's another person that faces electronics every day, and I'm trying to teach him as best I can. He's coming right along. Anyway, no, he's the go-to guy. If you need electronic information, he's the go-to guy. Mr. Allen.
What is an ARRL? What is that?
That's the Alabama Radio Relay League. How about the Amateur Radio Relay League?
Okay.
All right. Anyway, we're taking over. All right, let's go get us a little break.
It is.
Showtime. Let me get the other herd out here. All right, y'all, come on. Okay. I got you that.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I did that because you said do that. Right. You know, sometimes we have people out here and they think, that come to us and they say, well, I didn't do anything. And we were at this, it was like at the battleship. All right, go ahead, yeah. All right, thanks, dear, I appreciate it, but I'm going to carry on then. Anyway, like at the battleship, we have people behind the scenes that do things, and sometimes they think it's just trivial stuff. But it takes us all to make the wheels go around. And we got Mr. Don Sanders, for example, who gets up there and when people walk through, Mr. Tim Morgan, not only as radio operators, but brief people on what we do and even brief them about what the battleship has done. And so again, we're a spoke in the wheel, a big spoke in the wheel of promoting things, not only for ham radio, but when we stop these people and tell them what we're doing, and when you know, a lot of them, if you don't tell them about what's going through, they walk right past you. It's like they don't want to bother you because you're on the radio. And I can tell you that like Mr. Donald, for example, and Mr. Paul, when they promote the ham radio and the battleship as they do an excellent job. I got to tell you that Mr. Don told Mr. Paul one day, he sat there and he said, Paul, can you stand up and hand me out that over there? Mr. Paul says, I am standing up. So anyway, so And Mr. Tim, go ahead, you had a little something to say?
Larry brought to my attention the Alabama bicycle champions coming up. I will be notifying them that we will be planning on doing something to celebrate that, so just be standing by.
All righty, very good. We have, Larry, I don't know, but we have a second activities coordinator. And so, Hodge has told me we're gonna do the drawing next, and we're gonna take these applications and everything. So I just thought I'd let you know. We have Larry is our initial activity coordinator A, and now Hodge is B evidently. So anyway, I just say yes, ma'am, and just do, just like most of you husbands out there. Do what they say do. We have two people who have petitioned us to become members of our club here, and one of them being Mr. Joe Ruffer, KN4RMX. Am I saying that right? AMX, okay. And anyway, he has petitioned us, and I think Larry's grabbed his money, so I'll go ahead and vote him in. And, so all of them having Mr. Joe become a member with Deep South Amateur Radio Club, please raise your hand. It is unanimous, of course. And we also have a second person here. We might want to think about this one really hard. No, this is not the other one. This is. But I'll vote this guy in too, though. And that's Mr. Rod Molise.
They already took my $30.
He's in.
No, don't get it back.
Yeah, that man is in. Let me tell you a story about Rod Molise right quick, like in our activities. Yeah, activities coordinator. Larry, as far as I'm concerned, again, everybody is just really second to none in the club that does the things that they do. And Larry's outstanding being our activities coordinator. And we were at Mobile Amateur Radio Club's meeting, and Rod is a professor, or a retired professor from USA, and he was given, part-timer. And so I could, you can tell he's a professor. I didn't have to tell you because he's got that little goatee thing. So anyway.
I like to torture kids.
Yeah, there you go. And so anyway, he was giving a talk on FT8, and I'm sitting there listening to it. He's got my attention. I'm like, man, this is really cool. I'm saying, hey, Larry, I'm thinking to myself, you need to get with Rod, and I'm going to go see Larry. And so I wanted to tell Larry, I said, hey, he said, well, hold on a minute. I said, what's that? He says, Rod's going to give a talk at our next meeting or next one of our future meetings. He doesn't beat me to it. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Larry's right on top of it. He comes and tells me we're going to do this, this, and this. And
next month.
Yeah. So, and you will find this quite interesting. FT8's a booming thing. It's coming about faster and faster. It's an easy way to make communications, especially DX communications, really easy. So, anyway, with that being said, and we do have Mr. Rod's money, so he's automatically in there. But all those in favor of Mr. Rod Molise being a member of Deep South Africa, you are, of course, a member of Deep South Africa.
I guess that means I'm not getting my $30 back.
No. But we got some fine people.
He's gonna do the drawing.
I want to tell y'all something. This is scary. I'm sitting here thinking, who could I get to do the drawing tonight? I'm thinking maybe Mike. And Hodge turned around. She says, hey, you want to come? I'll rest my case, ladies.
Well, y'all, him and I don't have any tickets, so I figured, this is the fairest we can do. So anyway, here he is. He's gonna do the drawing for
Nothing up my sleeves.
for the big
This is for the AR-15 tonight.
Yes, sir.
What brand is it?
Bushmaster.
Bushmaster. There you go.
There you go.
All right. How much were the tickets? Oh, that's a deal. All right, here we go.
There we go. And the winner is Al Parker, KN4ALP. Al is not here, but we're gonna call him and let him know.
Put it back.
Huh? I can't do Al Parker, K4ALP. So Al is the winner of AR-15, y'all. Y'all, like all of these. And I'm gonna do the drawing for the radio. For the weather radio, I'm gonna do the drawing. While Mike is doing the call. Okay, the ticket number 7863562 is the winner of the radio, weather radio. Who's got that? 7863562. There you go, Mr. Chip. You're the winner of the radio.
Yeah, let me call.
I got one. I don't need another.
Okay.
How about 3561?
Hey, I'm gonna do another one. All right, the 7863554.
Oh, yeah. Not me.
Do you have one radio? Do you need another one? Do you want me to do another drawing? Okay, there we go. One more.
549 Hodge.
3575. Who's got 3575?
How about that?
No, I'm gonna have to give you the radio at next meeting because we didn't. That's not. My bad. Mike forgot to bring it. We had so much going on, but I promise you.
I kept saying, don't forget the radio, don't forget the radio, don't forget the radio. See if Janora's up.
I'm gonna see. Hey, at least I was honest.
Hey, Hajir.
It's almost like being owed money.
Hajir.
I promise you, nigga.
Hajir. Chico Tosh.
Your dues next week.
That's right.
Yeah, where's the welcome bag?
For who?
For our new folks.
I gave him one. I know he don't need because he's probably got everything.
What do you mean he probably don't need? Give it to him anyway.
Okay.
See if, I love calling folks and telling them, say, let me tell you one of my giveaway things. I called Mr. Leon Pringle. He won Hodge talked him into buying one ticket. And he said, I never win. He said he never won nothing. It was a nice little dual banner Yaesu radio. So I called him. I said, hey, Mr. Leon, this is Mike, K4MR. I said, hold on one second. Let me have it. Hey, this is Miss Janora?
It is.
Hey, this is Mike, K4MR.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're the center of attention right now at the club.
Oh, I am?
You are. You really are. And everybody tell Janora hello. I rest my case. Where's Al at?
He's in Atlanta on his way home.
All right. Well, when you call him, I would like for you to tell him a little something for us.
Okay.
Congratulations, he won the AR-15.
You're kidding.
I kid you not.
Here's the ticket, Mike.
I kid you not. He won the AR-15. I have about 60 witnesses here that will back me up.
Okay, well, I'll tell him. I was just telling that I think he needs to call you. There's something up that he needs to talk to him about.
All right, I didn't tell him to call my phone.
I will.
Not now.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling me, everybody. We missed you tonight.
All right, everybody says, hey, they're waving at you.
All right.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome, bye-bye. That was cool, I love doing that. Now I'm gonna turn my phone on so, because he's probably gonna call me. You know, they're not gonna answer me or you or any, they'll answer Mama, you can bet on that. Anyway, all right, we're gonna start taking off here with our show and tell tonight. And we're gonna start off with our new guy, Mr. Joe Guthrie. As I said, he's new to this, and we did something yesterday. Some of you will know, some of you don't know, but I'm going to let him explain it. And if he gets stumped, we'll let Ms. Zelda help him. And so she's been witnessing part of the operations on this thing too. You got 5 minutes, and then we're trying to do about 5 minutes on each one, and then we'll have some Q&A on it as well afterwards. This is going to take probably about an hour for everything that you'll see up here tonight, at about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes per item up here, and including our lecture. Mr. Joe Guthrie, KN4CCW.
brought the
It's yours.
thing with me.
Come on, set it up there and show everybody.
That right there is just the base. Imagine an 8-foot in diameter balloon attached to this thing, yanking not just the balloon, not just the tarp, not just the lines, this entire thing up against the ground and still pulling about 10 to 20 pounds. That's the amount of lift in the atmosphere it takes just to create the wind. But the part in particular tonight will be this nifty little device, the track soar. But we'll start with, see, we're in an age where the next generation of weather technology is rolling out every other day. But we still rely on methods as far back as 650 BC. Methods used by everyone from the military to the National Weather Service to the FAA. All the way down to our local meteorologists on the evening news who tell us if we even need an umbrella tomorrow. But even amateur radio plays a crucial role in radio operations every day. Emergency officials in National Weather Service offices across this country and even around the globe utilize ham radio in some fashion or another. It provides real-time ground truth to an environment in rapidly developing situations that they may not even be able to see, even with the fanciest of gadgetry and radar. Whether it's the storm spotters giving a report or daily reports on snowfall totals from the prior day, the newest tech is able to contribute to this as long as the reports are accurate and concise. As technology has progressed, so has our methods of collecting data. We have smartphones for positioning and reporting. We can transmit critical information via the internet and through the cell networks. However, that coverage can become quite limited. What I'll be showcasing today will be an old method of data collecting using new gadgets. Many developers have created devices for collecting position and weather data, but the one in particular we'll be talking about is a track soar developed by Mike Bales of Santa Barbara Hackerspace in conjunction with Mike Kapusik, Nick Winters, Michael Gregg, and many others that worked on this project. This is a very small, lightweight weather station. It weighs about half a pound. You can even drop the batteries down as long as they produce 3 volts and put it in a rocket if you wanted to. It operates on the 144.390 APRS network. I'm gonna go ahead and activate this thing. If anybody's got a handheld, you can hear the carrier signal. It's only 300 milliwatts.
144 what?
144.390. You can go ahead and pass that on around to everybody. If anybody wants schematics for it, it's completely open source. All the programming, all the designs, all the parts. Anybody can build one if they want to. And what I'm using this for in particular is collecting weather data at specific altitudes using a tethered balloon, which is this bad boy right here. We can send it up to heights as high as 3 kilometers if we wanted to. Problem is getting FAA approval to do so. We're working on this.
I'm from Alabama. How far is that in miles?
It comes out to about 10,000 feet in the air.
He's from Mississippi. If he's from Alabama, he would have known.
We use kilometers because the folks I ordered the cord from.
Speak kilometers, I'll know better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
But what this is designed to do is collect data from both a specific height in the air, on the surface, and actually in the ground. In the 30 minutes that we flew it, we generated right at about 10 pages worth of data in 30 minutes. Both coming through the airwaves, what was recorded in the sensor data, and just plain old observations. Plus we learned a few things about wind and how it circulates through the atmosphere at low altitudes, just in that 30-minute flight. But back on subject of ham radio, every one of you, say like the last hurricane that came in, the National Weather Service offered, we set up a net. Everybody that provided data, National Weather Service used that to not only issue several flash flood warnings, they used it to calculate their rain totals, to determine the strength of the hurricane, where it was at, where it was going. All of that information that we provided was crucial to their operations. But even today, ham radio is still serving the role that it was always designed to do.
Very good.
Thank you.
Go
ahead.
Yes, sir.
Can you put an antenna on that thing?
It's got a dipole, you can also,
Yeah.
yeah, you can solder it up any way you want to do it. It's
I'm gonna tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I was helping him hold this balloon, and it wasn't no big thing till he got about 50 foot in the air above the trees, and that's when he came in. It's got waxed string on it, and I had a towel in my hand, thank God, to hold it, because it would have probably cut my fingers off. It was extremely hard to deal with, once, like I said, and that wasn't at 250 feet. We went out about 250 feet with something like that, but it was steady working. You could see the LED as it was going out of sight, blinking. You could hear it on the radio. And all
you could see.
Yeah, and the data and everything. It was really fun, but it was an extreme difficult endeavor. You would think, hey, and this is in the afternoon time when the winds are down, and so.
Do what? Yes, it's AFSK.
Yes, sir.
That depends on what intervals they've been known. I mean, they've had folks that if you're transmitting rapidly and upsetting everybody in the AVRS network nationwide, you can get a couple hours out of it. If you use it frugal, you probably get a couple of days out of it.
So what was it you told me you had if you switched it to all and let it get up to about?
If you switch it to a wide 2-2, it will hit every digipeater in this country at 82,000 feet and repeat that information indefinitely until folks shut it down. We had one actor who did that. He said, "Oh, I want my data," and didn't consider anybody else or what he was doing, and that made a mess.
All right.
300 milliwatts did that.
You did an excellent job. We appreciate what you did. One more time for Mr. Mr. Don, come on up here and show us something. Tell us a little something other.
Joe? I'm Bruce. I was the one that was talking to you on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Don and I work together all the time. Let me tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this falls back to where we have senior citizens out here. Mr. Don has us, and us in a house. And if it wasn't for us, and us in a house, as he said, we are his family. And we work together all the time doing things. Mr. Don is always ready to go. And we have to remember that we're going to be 40 years old like he is one day. So anyway, Mr. Don, he's always doing something with us. He's always ready to help the ham community. He's always at the battleship. If there's anything he can do, Mr. Don, being a senior citizen and maybe a little bit over 40, he's always there to help us. Mr. Don.
Thank you. 41. I think the inspiration for this was through Mike, and it's what we have here is some great artwork that supports the issue. But seriously, Mike, with experience with these ham fests, thought maybe we were discussing instruction one day. And I said, Mike, the poorest form of instruction is a lecture, because we don't get to remember everything. So he said, well, fine, we're going to demonstrate. And he made these upper and lower insulators, and I think he had the G5RV in mind, but he has all of the components that would be used, and I can see myself in a ham fest where I can look at something and feel and touch it and see how it is. And for those that haven't any experience at all, they've got a whole dipole here and all of the accessories to go with it. And it's made out of Lexan, which is a very tough and durable material. You have here one that's accommodating ladder line, going from ladder line then to a coax. Then you have one here that's just strictly coax fed. And
Mr. Don called it a better mousetrap.
Anyway, I think the motivation was that, you'll see that at the Ham Fest that he goes to, and I think he'll hang it up in his store. I thought it was rather unique, and he always does nice work. It's the artwork. Made some suggestion on these trees and so forth. And he said, "I'm not trying to sell the trees."
Good job, Mr. Don.
Any questions, refer them to.
All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Don.
That's a short antenna, is that the UHF version?
Yeah, it is. You know, like one guy said on these HTs, he said, you know what the difference is between the antenna on the HT, it's this long and this long? I said, I don't know. He said, you can talk that much farther. so anyway, Mr. Steve Hale, Sergeant Steve Hale, the Sheriff's Department, he's got a couple of things that I'm waiting for the federal guys to come ask me, the ATF, do you know Steve Hale? You know, because he's got some launchers over here that must need a FFL approval. I'm just telling you, if you can take if you can take one of these launchers right here and shoot it through a piece of plywood, I would sit there and say you're going to get a knock on the door anytime now. Come on up, Steve. K4SMH.
Back when we had field day, we came down that morning to string up some antennas. I helped Larry, and I think David had his launcher down there, and I was looking at them, and I went home and built one. And the plans I had, the air tank was pretty long, so the launcher is probably, the first one I built was probably 4 or 5 feet long. And I got to thinking, there's got to be a better mousetrap than that. So I got to looking and got some different ideas. Went to Lowe's, Home Depot, started looking at stuff, and I found these valves, 24-volt valves that are used for a sprinkler system. So I'm like, okay, for sprinkler systems.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, now how can I power that? You know. So I got to thinking, and I took 3 9-volt batteries, hooked them up, gave me, was that 27 volts? Tried it, and it worked. I'm like, hey, that's fantastic. So then I decided I put me a little box and all, and I scaled it down, as you can see. I scaled it down to there. I put a switch for a trigger and just made it smaller. That's what I came up with. But I put a few little fancy things. I got a chrome valve there, air valve. I got a little PSI valve so that you don't blow yourself up, you know. I put, as Mike's saying, I put 75 pounds in it, and I had a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood, and I said, well, I wonder what to do with that plywood. Went slammed through the plywood about 50 feet, and I said, holy cow.
Yeah, my first one, I did the same thing. I had 100 PSI in it.
Yeah.
I had 100 PSI in it standing inside the shop, and I don't know why, I just said, I want to see if it'll put a dent in the sheetrock. In my 24 by 24 shop, we put a hole, solid hole through the wall.
Yeah. But that's the puck, and if you're wondering why it's orange, that's white PVC, and you wouldn't think you could lose something bright white in the woods. After the 3rd one that I lost, I'm like, I got to figure out a way not to lose these things. So I started painting them orange, and all that. A whole lot easier to find.
Get his tracker and put it
in. We went over and I brought it over to Mike and we shot it. How far do you think?
100 yards.
What's in the book?
It's fiberglass resin. So it's
I put dirt and bolts in one of mine.
Yeah. That makes it solid, you know.
Oh, you just put 2 caps on there?
Just 2 caps, yeah.
Hey Steve, have you seen the designs that they do now when they modify the valve where you don't have to use electricity?
No, I haven't.
they got it on the internet where you can exchange, you drill a hole in it, and you actually just.
Yeah, because it's using air pressure.
Air pressure nozzle,
Uh-huh.
and when you press that, it lets
Yes,
air out of
it
it.
uses atmospheric pressure to numb the valve.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's what I was gonna do with mine, is manually activated, but the ones I looked at is atmospheric pressure, so you can actually do it with that same valve.
Leave the pressure on that side of the house.
No, I like your idea about it.
All right.
I have two more things to add to, Steve's,
So you attach a string to that,
exactly.
and
yeah.
then you hook that up to your air pump, and you watch your valve, your gauge, and when it gets to 75, you quit.
Yeah.
And then you point it where you want, and pull the trigger.
Right.
All right.
And
I
it
do know
goes.
some PVC like that, I'm taking 125, but it gets scary if it blows.
Yeah,
away.
I'm
Jerry?
right doing this.
How many logs do you get out of one charge?
One. Just one.
One.
Yeah.
I know the one you had at the lights that one time, you got more than one log that did, but you got there sewer, did you?
No, it's.
No, it's that one. It just had some air left in it. So.
How long do the batteries last? How many launches do you get out of?
Oh, that's the original ones in it, and we've shut that thing over 100 times. So it's
What do
still.
you use,
I would think just to pump that valve.
open face spinning reel or something to?
No.
No, we just like, I've been using like the 550 cord, just straight on there, shooting it through the
Yeah, the
paracord.
way I did mine was
Yeah.
kind of, you know, with the redneck, I took a zip code.
Just
reel
like,
and top
you know, on the ground, lay it out, and
Release
then,
it,
you
and
know.
when I shoot it, then I can bring it back.
I wanted to add two more comments to Steve's project here. One is I have an extra one here that he graciously donated. It's at my house. If you want to shoot an antenna over your house, it's very easy to do, or over a tree, or wherever you want to shoot it. Or if you really want to whack the neighbor's dogs, this is the thing to do. And so,
Pay attention where you're shooting it when you shoot it.
yeah. Anyway, it's great for that. And I have one.
That would work good, cause my antenna's about
That's, hold on. You're the second part. Don't get ahead of me. You're the second part. Stand up for a minute. There's, how tall is the tree in your yard? 80 feet or something?
Yeah.
Did he shoot it over them?
Yeah, he hit the branch the first time, second time, over the top.
How in the world did I hit a branch? I don't know. But it went up, hit the branch, boom, it just fell. But then we shot it again, and it would go with that tree. His dipole is probably at least 70 foot in the air. It's probably the highest dipole I've ever strung in my life. No problem with that thing right there. It's awesome.
Well, we were running 65 pounds in it,
Yeah.
it would have gone over that 80-foot tree.
Yeah.
How well is that antenna performing?
It's real nice, I'll tell you.
Bet it is.
Indonesia was real clean.
All right, thank you, Steve. I didn't know that ham radio had anything to do with cuckoo birds, but I'm gonna let Alan Waldo come up here and explain about the cuckoo birds. I still don't know how to say this word yet, so I'm gonna leave it go at that. So here comes Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Mike.
Wait. Did you say Alan Waldo was a cuckoo bird?
No, I said that's what he's gonna talk on.
Oh.
He knows better. It's actually pronounced Cuckoo Ross. Stands for Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network.
What he said.
Yeah. It's a volunteer organization throughout the United States and I think Canada too, maybe some other places. That it's a bunch of citizen scientists. The only rain gauge that I know of that's official in Mobile County is at Mobile Airport. Okay? They want to have readings as many places they can get them from, but they've got to be accurate readings. This is about a $32 rain gauge. It's the only one that Cuckoo Ross authorizes. You can go on their website. It's COCORAHS.org, and you can view the information that's there that the other people have put in. You can also go there to put in your application to join. But if you become part of this network, then that's where you would enter your data each morning. We have to read the rain gauge at the same time every day. And you can read it at any time you want to. If midnight is your preferred time, that's fine. But the only data that's going to be displayed on the map is data that's collected from like 4:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. All the other information is used by meteorologists, farmers, ranchers, hydrologists. They use it in the prediction of river flooding. After a tropical event, they use it to help map the rainfall that happened through the country, you know, after a tropical storm or hurricane or something like that hits. They've tried the electronic gauges, and not to say that there's anything bad about them, but they don't hold exactly the same accuracy. And they insist on having the same accuracy, so the organization has voted that they've got to use, everybody's got to use this. If you've got an electronic gauge, you can compare it and you can see yourself the difference. This gauge will hold almost, well, a little bit over 11 inches without having to be emptied. The inner tube holds 1 inch of water, read in hundredths of an inch. And if you break any of these parts, which I've tried to do, it's not easy to do, you can buy replacement parts, you know, one at a time. You don't have to buy the whole thing at one time. In the event of a high rain event like a hurricane, it might behoove you to have 2 of these, because if it's pouring down rain at the time you need to take a reading, if you take this inside to measure out the overflow that gets in the outside tube, then you're missing some. So by having 2 of these, you can carry one out covered, the other one in the house, and read it. But that would be only during hurricane events, you know. You can also just take this out and dump the water into a bucket and take that in the house, and there's, you know, have another inner tube. You can measure it that way. But it's kukaross.org. It's free to join, but the gauge, they've got a place you can order it from on that same website, kukaross.org. There's training slides on there so that you can learn the proper place to mount the gauge and the post and everything. They've got very specifics the way they want it done. Any questions?
Just spell that again.
It's KOCORAHS.org.
Are there regular nets that you report your data on a routine basis?
Is there a regular what?
Yes. How do you report your data?
On that website,
Okay,
the
right,
kukaross.org.
on the website.
Right. They've got it. Once you become a member, you got to log on. Anybody can go to that website and you can view the data. If you want to go and see how much rain fell in a certain area yesterday, you can do that. But the only people who can enter it is people who have become members. They get a log on. And you go in there, they have a place for significant weather. So like if you get a large amount of rainfall in a short period of time, you go in there and report it as a significant weather report, and it goes instantly to the local weather office. And Jason and the guys out here at the local office, they told me every morning when they come to work, that's one of the first places they go is the Kukaross website to see what happened in the neighborhood. RAHS.org.
Well, I need to miss a day.
That's a good point. If you're going on vacation or something of that nature, we have the ability for you to enter what's called a multi-day report. So I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, come back, you know, had a couple of inches of rain in here, and I just report on the website that from this date to this date I got this many inches of rain. This gauge is built with this small hole and the fact that it seals across the top here to where there's very minimal evaporation takes place. So if the gauge is left out for a long period of time, it's still very accurate.
Go ahead, T-Ray.
I know you said that they want as many people to have those as possible, but all right, like Tim lives, what, less than a half a mile away from me? And he's got it set up, so.
No problem.
I mean,
It's needed. No, it's not. It's not overkill. There's an example I can show you on my website where a fella had a storm hang over his house, and in 2 hours period of time, he got over 7 inches of rain. The next rain gauge nearest to him got 0. The next rain gauge in the other direction got 0.07 of an inch. So no, it's not overkill. And besides, he might get tired of doing it one day. And so he quits putting data in. It happens a lot. You know, people get in here and they do this for, report this every day for a year or two, and then they get tired of doing it, and they just fall by the wayside. So if you've got other people that, so to say, pick up the flag and carry on. Any more questions?
I would like to add two more things to his discussion as well. And what he's talking about and what Tim's talking about and what Joe will be getting into is for the new folks. Tim has a direct portal to NOAA weather at Bates Field. During that last hurricane, if you notice some of the weather briefings that they would put on the TV to let us know, the hurricane we had that we didn't have, it was 25-mile-an-hour winds or whatever. It wasn't near as bad as we thought it was going to be. But they were taking information from, Mr. Arley and Mr. Terry and Brian and whoever, and they put on they announced that we're having these kind of winds and we're having this kind of conditions by amateur radio operators. They didn't say Deep South Amateur Radio Club, but they said ham radio operators. And so that right there is, there's a lot of people just like Ray Harrell. He was sitting there saying, I thought ham radio was dead. And there's other people. Joe Buckley, he thought ham radio was dead. These people are finding out, just like Joe's saying, that ham radio is alive and well, as we all know, as it is. The AMA people have told me without doubt that we have a room that will be for us. It won't be a two-person room, but it'll be a comfortable room. At the new facility out here that's being constructed right now on Ziegler Boulevard out there, they've got us a place. So again, these people know that they've got the 2 or 3 people that working at these different weather locations and these different TV stations and everything else. We've got thousands of ham radio operators out here all over the world that we can sit there and contact, our local ham radio operators as well as our distant operators, and we give them, and they listen to us, we give them 100% accurate information. They know they can rely on us. Mr. Alan Waldo, W Whiskey 4 Whiskey Mike Mike. Thank you, sir. Here's another treat, ladies and gentlemen. I told you there's some stuff out here that's second to none. Mr. Lee Hughes, KO4GL. If you would come up here and show us Hughes Electronics.
That was your idea.
I know it. And I don't regret it at all.
Does it show us electrons? Is that what you said?
I'm sure, if he can't, I can. I can show them to you. I'll be glad to.
I've been out of the hobby, for 25 years while I raised 2 sets of twins and starved to death. At any rate, I decided when I got back into it, I wanted to build something. And I wanted a nice antenna tuner. So, 25 years ago, you could get aluminum boxes and all kinds of stuff, air variables. I hunted for a year going to Hamfest, and I got 2 air variables in this that were out of a Henry 3K amplifier and a roller reductor, and I put together an antenna tuner. Now, I was looking for cases. Bud used to make boxes, and it's all that aluminum stuff that's this big. So you call around Mobile, you can't find aluminum sheet. So I went to Silver Ships. I said, I need a piece of aluminum. And I told him how thick, and he goes, well, I don't know, I've got 1/8 inch. It's real, pliable, it'll bend real good. You know how good it bent. The 2 of us on a metal brake lifted the workbench off the ground. So at any rate, this is a jigsaw cut, manually sanded down box that I put together with angle iron, both of these. This I built because I had leftover from this. I might as well build a speaker. It works great, it's real smooth. It'll tune that antenna up on 160, below 1.8, so I put it together and I built the case for both of them, and it was just using a jigsaw and files and sandpaper and stuff. So that's it.
Tell us about that nice mirror finish I would like on there.
That's out of a rattle can.
Yeah, it did
Yeah.
good.
What kind of meter is that in the front of there?
That's an MFJ meter. Oh, I got the.
MFJs?
Yeah, man, that's exactly what it is.
It only took us 3 months to get it too.
Yeah, it took 3 months to get the meter. Well, I wanted to put one in there, so I had it in there. And, you know, he says, well, you know, you can call them up and get anything from them. I don't care what it is. The buttons, I don't know if you know how hard these buttons are to find for the push buttons, the covers. MFJ, call them up and say, look, I need the covers. No problem. Hold on, I'll get the part number for it. The knobs I got from there, the vernier drives on both of these I got from them. They'll say whatever parts they use to build whatever they're building. So the vernier drives and the knobs and the crank came from MFJ. The innards came from Henry, and that guy, you know, he had those two air variables. They looked brand new. I won $85 for both, a piece for both of them. And I sat there on the last day of that ham fest, and I said, I'll give you $50 for both of them. And he thought for a minute, and he goes, you know, I've just been tired of carrying these things around for so many years. So I got it. Now I'm gonna tell you the feet. You like the feet down there, kind of like Heathkit, right?
Beautiful.
We moved into a new house, and the TV we had for the living room, it wasn't big enough. The living room's huge. So I had to get another television. I had to get the wall thing to, you know, to put the thing on the wall. Those little standoffs that you don't use, I went, damn, that's gonna be great for feet. So that's what's on both this and the speaker.
You had to buy 2 TVs to get 4 feet?
Well, how about the other one? No, what I did is I had to take the other television, it wasn't big enough for the living room, and put it in the bedroom, so I had to get 2 wall units. And I had enough feet to make two projects of it, you know, but you're making this stuff, and I don't know about y'all, but mine's going all the time. Where am I gonna get this? How can I use, what can I do to make that happen? And I saw this thing sitting in the box, and I went, I'm not throwing that out, those are gonna be feet. So that's it.
What was really funny about this is when he got through with it, I said, this has got a major, major flaw to it. And he's looking at, he said, what's wrong with it? I said, it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a major flaw to it. He said, what's wrong with it? And so I told him, I said, go to the Mexican guy at the flea market over there and get him to make up a decal.
So I went and had the vinyl decals made up, and I painted the front panel, put it on, and then I shot it with clear, 3 or 4 coats of clear over it. You know, to try and take away the fact you can see them on there, but you know, it didn't come out too bad. And this is just that wrinkled black from it's not Krylon. It's Rust-Oleum. Stuff's got the paint and the primer. Now, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna shoot aluminum, you have to use etching primer. You can't just shoot the paint on, because if you do, you can go, it will just come off. So I used etching primer, and I sanded the mess out of the stuff before I put the primer on it. You know, sand all the shiny out of it.
What bands does it tune?
Well, on that antenna, I got a modified G5 RV up. He came over, but after he did, I tried it out with 160. It'll tune 160 to, you know, it's below 1.8 or 1.7. Yeah, I think it'll tune your truck, really. So, and it's the meter said it'll handle a couple of thousand watts, because I'm planning on building a linear
We're
site.
gonna test that.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna do it.
I wanna know what kind of power before we let them smoke out.
The stuff I used inside, I'll tell you this, the wire that's in there, I didn't want to use copper wire. So I surfed the internet for silver wire. You know, you used to be able to get that stuff. So there's a guy in California, I got the name of him, they do it for jewelry. I said, I need 3 foot of .999, you know, silver. No problem. I said, well, how much is 3 foot of it? It was like 20 bucks. So I said, send it to me. So the inside of this has got number 10, it's number 10.
Yeah.
Solid silver wire that's running between the air variables and the inductor. So.
And for you all that don't know it, Mr. Lee is a very known band director throughout the United States. He's composed several pieces that were received recognition and everything. And so, as Mr. Don says, we are a diverse group. We've got all kinds of walks of life in here. We've got just an abundance of talent. it's, as I said, you know, it's second to none. This is stuff that can be copied by companies out here, and I'm sure that some of the people are gonna see it later on. And, you know, I joked about putting Hughes Electronics on there, but, you know, if there was an actual company, you'd be certainly proud to sit there and say, hey, this is a product of Hughes Electronics.
Because way back then, I was repairing flybacks on, you know, on computer monitors, so I had a company so I could buy wholesale.
Yeah, he told me one time, he said, I used to work with thousands of volts. So I said, well, you a high-line electrician? He said, no, I worked on TVs. So anyway.
Coming soon, you'll see the matching amplifier to it.
It's coming.
I am monitoring the time, by the way. I do it pretty religiously. Yes, sir, thank you very much. Mr. Larry Anderson, come on up here and show us what you got up here.
Okay. First of all, let me tell you, I've been a ham a pretty good while. First ham radio I had was an old, probably nobody in here but Jim knows, the World Radio Lab Galaxy 300, store-bought, really. I saw one at the Ham Fest in Jackson the other week. Looked like it was somebody kept it in the chicken house or something. It was pretty bad shape. I would have got it, except it was pretty bad shape.
It's 3 bands?
Yeah, 3 bands. After that, I built a Heath kit. So I felt better about being a ham because I put something together. But I had never designed or built something from scratch. So I said my goal was to build a station setup. So I looked around and I looked at one of the ARRL project books, had a transmitter in it, a little 10-watt transmitter. And so I searched and searched for probably 6 months. I got enough parts and I put this transmitter together. Now it's a little crude, but you look inside here, it's got what they call the ugly circuit board, or some people call it dead bug type. You've got grid squares in here that you cut with a hacksaw, of all things. It's not an etched board. Each component is soldered directly to a pad. It's very flexible. You can make it any way you want it. But this basically was built from a plan in the book. And I was very pleased. I got 15 watts output from it. This one operates on 80 meters. It has a variable capacitor in here that's in the VFO, and a little vernier, a little small vernier. The oscillator oscillates on 160 meters, and it doubles it over in this circuit, and it goes through some buffers, comes out on 80 meters over here, and this is the power amplifier section right here. If you notice, if you've never fooled with toroids, this is an experience. This was my first time to actually wind the toroids by hand and count them over and over, double count them and make sure I got them just right. And it worked really good. I'm really pleased with it. Okay, I had the transmitter going, but I couldn't receive anything. Of course, didn't have a receiver. So I could not find anything like I wanted. Most all the home-built receivers are direct conversion. If you ever fool with direct conversion, when you tune off on one side, you hear the zero beat go one way and then the other way. It's aggravating because sometimes you hear the tone, you don't know if you listen to the one on this side or that side until you get used to doing it. But I said, I want a single signal. It's a single conversion, but it's a super heterodyne. And most of the homemade ones, they have, you know, the band pass is about this wide. So you hear people all up and down the band when you're on one setting. Don't want that. I just looked in a catalog and I found this thing here. This is a Collins mechanical filter. So what I did was I designed a intermediate amplifier filter circuit for 455 kilohertz. Back in them days, 455 KCs. You remember that, Jim? I found
all this stuff as you talked about it, so yeah, he knows it all.
Right. I built a preamp, goes through the tuner, comes out on 455 kilohertz, goes through the filter, and I happen to have, if you look, here's a made-up circuit board. This was an amplifier, the audio output, to drive a speaker. This came out of an old tape recorder. So now I could receive. But you got to know where you are on here. And this vernier here tunes this capacitor but it's not necessarily the same as that one there. So what I had to do was put some parallel and series capacitors in there to get it the same range. When I turn this on 0, it's actually 0 through 10. When you turn it on 0, I'm on the same frequency on the receive that I am on the transmitter, basically.
Close as good horseshoe and hand grenades.
Right, close enough. But I've got over here on the transmitter, there's a switch that says spot. You remember back, I know you know about spots. When you turn it on spot, the transmitter comes on, but it don't put any power out, just the oscillator runs. It's strong enough that you can hear it on the receiver. So I put it in the spot, and I can tune this over here, or I can listen, and I can tune this till I hear my 0B. So I know that the transmitter and receiver is on the same frequency. This was probably about a year putting this together off and on for the whole project. And once I got the thing together, I knew that I had 15 watts out. I knew that I could receive. The next thing was to get on the air with it. So the very first guy I talked to was in one of the Carolinas, I think North Carolina. And I explained to him what I had. This is CW only, by the way. I explained to him what I had, and he said, man, he said, I wish my bought transmitter sounded as good as your homemade one does. Made me feel really good, you know. So about that time, I had built my own station, and I felt like I was a true ham radio operator. Really, the pride of constructing the thing, putting something on the air that I had built from scratch myself. One other thing I did, Heathkit made a kind of an inexpensive SWR meter. I just basically cloned it. I built a directional coupler, got me a meter out of an old signal generator or something. It's a microamp meter, forward and reverse, and then I had the transmitter, receiver, and something to measure it with. And felt like I was a real ham when I got all that done.
So as you can see tonight from everything that you've seen so far, we have a lot of experience in here. Everybody will be glad to share their ideas with you of how they did all this. We're going to have a part B to this because we had so many people. I had to, as you can see, I kind of go by it's 7:45. I'm pretty good at keeping time with things. If I can't do nothing else, I can pretty well plug in everybody and get us out here at about the right time. But anyway, we will probably have a part B to this. And don't think we forgot about you by no means. We would certainly like for you to bring your ideas. Let Larry know, and he will give us another. He always comes to me and says, we're going to do this, this, and this, and that's generally 99% of the time that's what we do. But we want to see what else, because these are only 7 things right here that we've shown tonight, including my little antenna outside. And I'm not quite through. But anyway, and I appreciate everybody keeping me. You know, I've got about 4 people. Hey, you know what time it is now? Mr. Tim, come up here and show us your antenna right quick live.
I took my first little foray into building an antenna. As a Diamond Club member of ARRL, if you join, they've seen one of these nice little books. And I've wanted an antenna that didn't have to be fired into a tree. One day I swear I'm gonna see Brian come swinging through a tree on a wire like Tarzan at a field day. So I got thinking, what if you ain't got a tree? So I just so happened to see this little antenna designed in this book. It's called an octopus. Little 4-band antenna, HF antenna, and using ham stick. So it's very simple to build. All they do is take a junction box for electrical junction box. You drill 8 holes in it, put antenna lugs in it. You make 4 of them hot and 4 of them ground to the box. And you put the ham sticks in, tune them for center of the band, 50 ohm load, and let an antenna tuner do the rest of it. And according to the article, the gentleman said he got quite a few contacts on it. Great thing about it is, when you're using one set, the others just kind of just sit there, just very little interaction. and you can switch back and forth. Now, the great thing about it is it's directional. Now, if you got a plebe radio operator, a novice, you can tell them, go rotate my antenna, so he can just walk out there for you and just give it a little switch. Or you can actually put a rotor on it. But it is a great little portable antenna, best I can tell. It only took, according to the Arthur, Mr. Haynes, it only takes about 30 minutes to set it up. At 26 feet, he said it's about the best optimal height for it. So, like I said, it's very easy to build. I got my welder over here, gentleman with the drill press to drill it, and he welded it. It's just, you put a SO239 in it, bring the hot wire straight into the center pin, and that's it. This thing can be built in less than a couple hours. He shows in the book using a half-inch pipe going through the middle and putting a 2-meter antenna on the top of it. I didn't do that. I just had a micro weld at 90-degree angle, put it to it, and just clamp it to that antenna pole right there using a hose clamp. So, just a very cheap and inexpensive 4-band antenna.
And what frequency is it?
This is 20 and 6 right now.
20
but,
and 6.
Yeah, and we only put the lugs on it for 4. You can put 4 more lugs on it, and you can actually have a quad band HF antenna out of it. And the great thing about it is you can pick which bands you want to use.
The ham sticks are marked on each one of what meters they operate at. So it's up to you however you want to, what you want to make it.
If you want to run half a day at 20, you can take the 20 out and put 40s in and leave you 6 meter, 10 meter, or whatever.
Let's put this in Bruce's house tomorrow, right now.
There's one coax feed all of them?
One coax feeds it all.
So there's no switching? It just selects the one?
The switch comes when you change band.
Okay.
Yeah, the resident iPhones.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
What you got in it?
Huh? Each one of those hand sticks is was it $14 or $17?
About $15.
Yeah. The little junction box, $3. Now the rest of it I already had. Now I wanted a good tripod, so I got a military style tripod. And the great thing about that is, you see now I'm just using one of them. You can put 2 of those poles and it gets higher and higher and higher. And becomes even more stable. If you put 2 on there, it spreads it out even more. And it becomes more stable and you can go higher with it. And then
those poles and the military tripod are all over the eBay.
yeah.
That's the problem.
Now, if you buy them separate, they're a little cheaper. This was $40 I got, and I paid, what was it, $15 for a bag of these poles at a ham fest in Slidell. Guy was selling them for 15, 14 poles for $15.
Originally.
Yeah, and I cut a deal with him, and Joey and I left here the following weekend, Friday, and drove up there and bought everything else he had left at $15 a pop. And then I carried them to Montgomery and sold them all up there for, well, I won't say, but I made a nice tax profit. I sold them all to the man that owned Ham World. And I've been trying to get another load ever since, and I can't get the guy to call me back. Huh?
You think you're with the FBI?
Yeah. One coax and no switches. You tune them to the center of the band, and then you let an automatic tuner do the rest. So.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Al text me and let me know that he's on a jet right now, so, yes, sir.
Don't walk into that radio.
Okay, yeah, I'll try not to. We're either one of my bad eyes, anyway. So we will, if you'd like to just see this little thing I got on the back of my truck, if you'd like to, and if you'd like to certainly walk back by here again, and if you have any questions for the inventors or the people who came up with this stuff, or if you want to talk to Alan about the cuckoo birds again, you're welcome to do that. And I found that really interesting. He was telling me about. I was like, what language are you speaking? I don't understand. I couldn't even say the word. I still can't say it. But anyway, we certainly appreciate everybody being here tonight. If I don't have your email address, please give it to me. If you have somebody who wants to get email from us, we have over 220 people now on our email list, and we would love to email everybody out here. Y'all missed one thing yesterday. I'm going to say something real quick. Like Miss Diane, she forgot her purse at the meatballs the other day. So I was walking around. With Miss Diane's purse. Got several compliments on it. So anyway, hey Al. Well, I just want to know you're interrupting me here at the meeting. Everybody tell Al hello. You think I'm kidding? But I'm calling you for a reason. Okay. You're the winner of the AR-15. Really? You are the winner.
Congratulations!
There you go. So I didn't know how. We talked to Janora, and I told her. She said, "You're kidding." I said, "No." She said, "I'm gonna tell him to call you." And I got your text. I was just telling everybody. So, and I loved it. I love to surprise people with stuff. So, again, congratulations from everybody here, and congratulations for winning a really nice gun.
Hey.
Thanks, man. I'll look up with you tomorrow and find out what to do.
All right, so no problem at all. All right, so all right, y'all stay safe. See you a little bit. Bye bye.
Okay, man. Thank you. Bye.
All right, one last thing before we get everybody out of here. Mr. Mike is, we was talking about earlier, he might be kin to me because he's another Mike. So anyway, but Mr. Michael, as in Michael Hartman, but anyway, Michael William Houghton, KN4JGD, has petitioned our club to become a member. So all them in favor of Mr. Mike becoming a member of Deep South Amateur Radio Club. Oh, looky here, stand by, one more minute. I knew we wasn't gonna get out here in time.
I'm running
Anyway,
from, from everybody.
and our new weather guy B for Mr. Tim and Mr. Joseph Guthrie. He has also petitioned us as a member of KN4CCW, and all those in favor of Mr. Joe Guthrie and you now are serving a member. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We will see you next month. Make sure I get your email address if I don't have it or whatever. And we sure appreciate everybody bringing stuff again. If you'd like to see everything, please come by and check it out.